Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. If you don't already know, my name is Maddy Doyle, and I did my project in coordination with the Salt River Project on re-envisioning office waste. So the problem I identified was really office waste in general, and it's kind of conceptualized around this problem of having a trash can where things just quote unquote disappear. But as sustainability professionals, we understand the problem's a lot more like the picture on the right. We're just accumulating material that isn't going anywhere. So I started my project with the following intentions. I wanted to see long-term financial benefit for SRP. I wanted to see environmental benefit over time through recycling or composting. I wanted to address SRP's 2035 goals, one of which is to reduce office waste by 50% before the year 2035. So that was very in line with my project. And then I also wanted to involve employees. So that meant both community collaboration to build on sustainable programs, as well as creating a model for scalable employee engagement for the future. So the first site that I worked at was the Coronado Generating Station. This is a coal-fired power plant located in northeastern Arizona. And at this power plant, one of the biggest parts of their waste stream is actually single-use plastic water bottles. So to help capture some of that material, I implemented a recycling program, which looks like this image on the right. So we were able to deploy these bins that have labels as well as a poster above it. In addition, I communicated to employees via an open house, handout flyers, as well as emails. So to give you an idea of what that communication looks like, this is a blown up version of that poster. I really focused on imagery and very simple messaging. So this was a very good way for the employees to be able to interact with the program, and I've seen great results in terms of how well they're able to understand it. The second site I worked at is known as the Skills Training Center, located at SRP's Para Club. This is a brand new building that opened March 1st. So it was a great time for me to be able to get in on the ground level and be able to make an impact before it even started. So when looking at what waste was expected for this building, one of the biggest waste streams was actually catered goods and the materials from that process. So I worked with the catering team at the Para Club to be able to establish all compostable goods. That included their paper plates, utensils, as well as cups of all varieties to be able to serve their needs. So now all this catered good material can now go into composting streams that we've set up at the facility. That material is then collected in compostable liners and sent to Recycled City to be composted locally. That nutrient-rich soil is actually used by Recycled City to create nutrient-rich produce for the valley. So again, I used very imagery-based communication. This is an example of one of the posters that I used on the bins. So this was one way in which I was able to communicate both with the employees that are there every day, along with the 100+ visitors they get to the site every single day. So it helps kind of bridge that gap between the knowledge base that already exists and someone that's seeing this program for the very first time. So the biggest point of my project was really that employee engagement piece. So to execute on that, I built up the green team at both these sites. Our SRP green team is very robust and exciting. We have about 150 members in the last year. So I was able to add on about 17 more members to that green team and trained them in not only the sustainability programs at SRP, but also some of the sustainability work that's going on worldwide. This included education on the Sustainable Development Goals to kind of help them understand what's happening, as well as give them really great ideas for the future. So green team projects that have come out include the Grounds to Grow On collection boxes where they're collecting K-cups to be reused, and soft plastics recycling. So this is really where the green team is functioning not only as leaders in the space, but also as a way to continue educating employees in the future. Finally, the last piece of my project is really figuring out a way to reduce waste as much as possible. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest wastes is single-use plastic water bottles. So SRP offers what's called the Bring Your Own Bottle Challenge, or BYOB, as an incentive to employees. We gift employees these beautiful stainless steel water bottles, and in return, they no longer get to order single-use plastic water bottles. So in the course of this project, I was able to secure one facility challenge, meaning that that facility no longer is ordering plastic water bottles for the Skills Training Center, along with other team and individual challenges amongst those facilities. And that work totaled in about $71,000 in savings per year for SRP. So those are really amazing numbers to see. And even after you subtract out the annual cost of the programs I've implemented and the cost of the water bottle, you're still saving about $61,000 in savings every year. So that was really exciting for me. So to really understand how this project went, I sent out a survey to both sites. The first, both sites really gave me good data. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about here is what I refer to as interaction, or how often employees are interacting with these new systems. So 100 would be they're interacting with it every single day, and 50 would be they're interacting with it weekly. So on average, you can see employees are interacting with them multiple times a week, if not more. I had multiple people say they were interacting with it 100% or every single day. So that was really great to see that they're actually being used. The second set of columns here are indicative of how well employees thought the program addressed waste at their facility, or the sentiment behind the program. As you can see, the Para Club bar is much higher than CGS. I credit that to the fact that the Para Club composting stream actually addressed a lot of the waste at that facility. We significantly reduced the amount of waste going to landfill just based on visual inspection. So there is a lot of positive sentiment behind that. In addition, I was able to talk with a lot of those employees firsthand, versus at CGS, I was only able to talk to about 50 of the 200 employees. So there's a little bit more work to be done there in terms of what sentiment they have behind the program. The next set of bars refer to confidence, or the confidence that employees have in their ability to sort items. So 100 would be they're absolutely feel very confident and they feel like they can almost teach it, versus 0 would be they have no idea what's going on. So people are quite confident, which I'm happy about, maybe a little bit optimistic about, but I really credit that to the fact that all of our messaging is based on images and helping people understand with very simple pictures what's going on. And then finally, I asked how well they thought the program was communicated. So these last two bars, I think are really a reflection of how much time I was able to spend with employees and at each facility. The Para Club is very accessible as it's here in the Valley, so I was able to communicate with those employees directly, and as a result, see really high positive communication ratings. Again, CGS is still quite positive, but I definitely think there's room to grow there. Based on pre-response results, I'm looking at communicating better with them about where this waste is going, so I have a better understanding of that, as well as continuing to communicate via email reminders. They seem to like both of those. So all in all, this project, I've learned so much, but my lessons learned are really centered around why this project was successful. The first of which, I believe, is the SRP 2035 goals. These goals really set the groundwork for sustainability work at SRP. It changed the conversation. So when I was able to approach these managers and start conversations, they were very enthusiastic, versus in the past, other projects have failed as they weren't able to bridge that gap. So having these goals in place really changed the game for SRP, for sustainability efforts at SRP. The second key to success is what I like to refer to as the power of the individual, or in this case, me. Having someone dedicated to the project and making sure it gets done in a timely manner, I think really made the difference here. And so I'm proud to say that I'm one of the reasons this project succeeded. And finally, I really think that the green team and the power of communication and ideas has been a really great success in this project, including current work that the green team is doing, as well as future efforts. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that's helped me, including my teammates in the back. And I leave you with one question: how can you re-envision your waste?